when I was 18 years old when I worked for a company called Anderson Brothers Printing and Ed. We've located it where Fred's got his office on Broad Street, right down where the varsity was at. Mr. Anderson, he called my dad, he called on Sunday night and said, "God, we're gonna start jogging about Austin in the morning. Y'all ain't be there at 7 o'clock." We went, so he called and he said, "Fellas, we just had finished the courthouse, federal courthouse." You don't think you're called? Yes, we get my house and we go down to the courthouse. Was it Robert? No, I just need y'all. Christmas. You know, I had long shaggy hair, beard. Mr. Anderson had a 1971.
How's it going, Mayor?
Happy to be here. I hear you, man. Happy to be here. I hear you sitting just inside the door, living in Sunset.
Are you representing a certain segment of the United? You got them all this time.
We went down there, we sat there,
Hey, how do I get in,
about 4 hours later,
let's send a donation to
Jeff comes out. He picks up his suitcase and sits between my legs for 3 hours.
I'll get it. That's right, we get it.
And I no, we a little bit more about houses and all like that.
Oh, yeah.
We sell for $36,000, and I think you go pay these bills. She's gonna sit out there. The only thing that federal judge told me,
Y'all cancel the sign in. Just says who's here. You sign for you. Just put his X over there.
Regular road is filled up.
We're back. Gang gets back.
Most of the time, our insurance give us restitution, but then they have to pay back the insurance. That's out of our hands.
How about that? I'll come over here in the morning here.
Our insurance, yes. Our insurance reimburses us on that. Our insurance.
Yeah.
Insurance premium.
Now you gotta act like this. I got put it like how we do it.
That's what I'm
Tracy.
A plate is typically one of those plates. They done. Well, yeah, if you go inside, there's at the teachers. Yeah.
All over the truck.
Well, I guess it's, that was a strawberry one, that was. Earlier, you were saying, I was sure it was.
Oh, I thought we gave all that back.
We do, well, we serve.
Yeah. The hard part is.
They called the game about that, I heard it on the radio. Called the break. Oh, and then
females.
Traffic wise, but it'll be better to end. What makes that one hard? Everybody else got hard to picking up speed. And then the road, so you're looking at traffic in front of you. The reason we start turning and short drive. So. I'm shocked. It's a hot roll. Yeah. It's a lot of money. You're just one on the car.
Actually, she's pushing out. Still unsure, they have some sort of instruction. You know, I didn't realize.
The whole book is,
I just realized early on. They gotta go. Well. I was thinking,
I don't know that. So the only way to lower your pharmaceutical side is contact insurance, because it even sounds. Any skill, news, TV. It's kind of advertised on the TV screen.
Just nothing.
Oh, it's pharmaceutical. We are.
But, yeah, it's been a long years.
Yeah, y'all ready to go? Yeah.
I'm good.
Oh. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Madison County Board of Commissioners Agenda Setting Work Session, April 1st, 2024, 6 p.m., 6:02 p.m. And start off with the chairman's report. Got it? Somewhere. I'm gonna rearrange this a little bit, because the first thing I want to talk about is the passing of prior county chairman, Mr. Bill Madden. Mr. Madden passed away this past Friday, March 29th. Chairman Madden served Madison County from 1985 to 1996. He was elected in November 1984. Bill's journey through life was marked by hard work, determination, and love for his community. Chairman Madden served in the Army National Guard and the U.S. Navy. Chairman Madden was an entrepreneur and established several businesses. To speak of, Bill's ND-Bill, for who all's here old enough to remember Bill's ND-Bill, being able to skip school and get a biscuit and still serve us kids. I remember him doing that well. He's also the founder of Blazers Hot Wings. Chairman Madden contributed to paving approximately 300 miles of roads, improvements to the county's recreation department, the fire departments, constructed a new library, senior center renovations, and this here government complex, which we're still in today, was all fruits of Chairman Madden's labor. Chairman Madden's funeral services were held today at 2 p.m. at United Methodist Church here in Danielsville. And if there was 2 vacant seats in that building, I'll be surprised. Chairman Madden, it's not on here, but I want to speak on something that the preacher said today in reference to Bill. Bill was from Elbert County, for some of you that don't know. And I guess through the fruits of Bill's labor of paving Madison County, his political sign at the time was he was going to get Madison County out of the mud. And I saw where Commissioner Adams posted that on a Facebook post the other night. But so when they repaved Highway 72 and added a 4-lane between here and Elberton, they named that portion of the road Bill Madden Parkway. And it was ironic today that his funeral last night, the viewing was in Elbert County, and he got to ride that road to come back to Danielsville today. And the preacher said he got a lump in his throat. Nothing really hit him too hard until he got to Comer, 72 and 98, and the Comer Volunteer Fire Department had the American flags draped across the fire trucks at that intersection for Mr. Madden. And his eulogy was based around the word friendship. And he said, you know, Bill had thousands of friends throughout Madison County and throughout the state of Georgia. And I just want to say that I was one of those friends to Mr. Madden. He was a role model of mine. Bill was a get-her-done kind of guy. And I just want to take a minute to say that about Bill. Now on to the chairman's report. Andrews Mill cleanup event was held March 23rd, 2024 at the Madison County Board of Commissioners office, partnered with Broad River Watershed Association, Oglethorpe County, on this cleanup event. The group consisted of 15 volunteers and collected 27 tires and 1,320 pounds of trash. And that's what trashy people do in trashy counties. They make a mess, and other people have to clean it up. That's just in one location. I see it every day when I ride up down the road. The commissioners will hold a board retreat Monday, April 8th, 2024 at 3 p.m. at the Government Complex Public Hearing Meeting Room. The board will discuss funding, budgets, ongoing future projects, partnerships with the IDBA and the Chamber, along with county-related businesses. The Board of Commissioners will hold an economic development meeting with the Industrial Development and Building Authority Friday, April 12th, to discuss the county's vision and strategies for the retaining of economic development. Reinstating economic development, I'm sorry. It's been a long day, folks. That's all I have on the chairman's report. Please keep the Madden family in your thoughts and prayers as they go through the coming weeks. Business involving guest groups and multiple visitors. Ms. Stephanie Wilson with the Industrial Development Building Authority. Ms. Wilson, for some of you that may not know, is the clerk of the IDBA.
Good evening. I have been asked to come tonight to give y'all an update on Ben Morrison's regards that he could not be here. But a few things I wanted to go over is some accomplishments that we had in 2023. So we have a lead and copper study that we need to complete by October of 24, and in 2023 we've been able to complete 90% of that. No lead has been found throughout our system. Another thing that I wanted to speak on was that we worked with a third-party company to lower our credit card processing fees for our customers. So that has been brought down to $2.95 to $1.50 per charge, and that has been something that our customers did not like, so we're working on that for them. Since we've been able to lower that, we've gained 259 monthly auto pay customers, so that ensures that these people are getting their bills paid and that we're getting the money that we need to keep working. Last year we installed 97 new meters. 30 of those were old meters that were damaged, so we have 67 new taps done. We were also able to drill a well at James Holcomb. That well is producing 120 gallons per minute, so that's good. We'll run that at about 60% once we can get that online and complete the testing for that. We were also able to finish the Mize Road project, and then after that was completed, that water system is now put on with our main system, so we only have to test 3 different water systems monthly now. And then you'll see a packet that I handed y'all. So that right there on the first page are 3 sources of water, and that's what we produce monthly. And then that has our total for what Madison County Water Department is able to produce. And then the next page shows the sources that we purchase water from. So through drilling that new well, and then we have either 2 or 3 more wells that we want to drill this year, we hope to become more self-sufficient with that. I also wanted to touch on the Waffle House project. So everything for that should be delivered by May 1st. And once that's delivered, we'll be able to go ahead and put the lift station in and get that going. We were also able to sign the agreement with the road development. So that is going to be over 1 mile of water line that will be extended at no cost to the county. So that's good. And then as well as the feed mill project, we hope to get that done this year, again, at no cost to the county to extend that water line. We have this year tested a well at Spratland Pond. It was not in use, but we've now decided to bring that well back online, and that well tested out at 355 gallons a minute. So that was a very good producer. We have submitted the water samples for that, and then after we get those back, they'll tell us what filters we need to make sure that that is in compliance. A couple of numbers that I kind of wanted to throw at you guys as far as sales. So we sell to 7 public government, and that is on 158,000 gallons a month, and then 52 commercial locations coming in at 2.1 million gallons a month. 1 industrial, which is GRP, and that's in between 19 and 21 million gallons a month. And then residential customers, we have roughly 1,658 coming in at 7.8 million gallons, and that's a total of 1,718 customers. So that's really all I have, just a brief little overview. Does anyone have any questions about anything or want additional information on anything? So,
Thank you very much.
thank y'all.
When do you expect to have the test back for the new well?
Okay, so at James Holcomb, we have one that's drilled, and we know what filter system we're gonna need for that well. We have contacted a guy out of Ohio, and he's able to look at a map and say, this is where you're gonna hit water. So he's given us those 2 locations. One of those has hit at least 150 gallons a minute. The other one is more than that. So after we get both of those tests done, but we literally did those Thursday and Friday of last week. So it'll be a little bit of time, but we hope to use a filter system that we already have purchased to put all 3 of those together because they're in a general location, and be able to utilize that extent that we've already done. And because we didn't have any big projects last year, and the 2 that we're looking at this year are going to be paid for, the IDBA is sitting financially pretty well at the moment. Okay. Thank y'all.
Thank you. All right. Ms. Anna Strickland, Chamber of Commerce.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for having me on the agenda tonight. I know y'all have a very robust working session, so I'll try to be as concise as possible. Thank many of you for attending the State of the County. That was our most well-attended State of the County yet, and obviously congratulations to Christina for graduating from our leadership program. Very proud of her, and look forward to seeing what all she accomplishes in the next few years. You have a snapshot in front of you. Many of you also attended annual meeting and dinner, and this will be review information for you, but I don't have to tell you that we've come a long way since January 2020. You know, at that time, we think we had around 76 members, maybe, and, you know, now we're sitting right at 330 members in such a short time. That's absolutely tremendous. Our goal this year is to hit that 400 member mark. You know, some key accomplishments that you see, the numbers say it all. To meet this demand that we've had from our members and from the community, you can see 100 meetings, roundtables, programs, and events. That's a very conservative number. But to do all of this, we've been so thrilled to be able to hire another another full-time staff person. You probably all know Corey Lynn Thurston. She's here in the room. She's been a tremendous asset for us. I'll say all that to say none of this would have been possible without your support. And you know that. But I need to publicly thank you, thank the IDBA, thank the school system, and thank Jackson EMC, because you took a gamble on us. And, you know, it's been motivation for us and my bosses, 14 board of directors. We have our chair in the room, Nathan Coker, and another board member, Stephanie Harden. And, you know, we work for the community. We do. I mean, you can see that's so conservative, 1,100 volunteer hours. It's a working board. The staff works day in and day out to serve our members. And, you know, we don't want to let anybody down, and we don't feel like we have, and we don't intend to. But if we're going to continue to see this success, we are going to need to have some serious conversations around resources for us to do so. And I'll get to that in just a moment. So you see this snapshot, and you see how far we've come in a very short amount of time. What's chamber best practice, and how do we grow smartly? So typically, you have one full-time staff member for every 100 to 150 members. And so, if we're at 300 and something members, 330 members, and we get 5-ish new members a week, we've got to talk very seriously about having the right staff to be able to meet our members' needs. A program of work that's as expansive as ours, I'm told by Georgia Chamber and the GACCE, that's the professional organization for the Chamber. Our program of work very much reflects that of a large chamber. We're considered a medium-sized chamber now, but when we hit that 400 mark, we'll be competitive with some of the larger, more metro counties, certainly counties that have more than one high school. And so we're really proud of that. And to be a good steward of members' resources, of your resources, you don't have this in front of you, but you'll have it at your work session, is our strategic plan. And so we work with an outside consultant, much like you did for your comprehensive plan, to sit down and go, okay, we've done a lot. Is it the right a lot? How do we continue at the right pace and with our members' needs in mind? And so from that, we crafted this document that's our strategic plan for 2023 to 2028. And I'll just breeze over a couple of items for you. Again, you'll have this for your work session. But, our mission statement, we were able to say, okay, who are we? We passionately strive to develop a pro-business climate that serves as a catalyst for economic and community development that complements our agricultural roots in Madison County. And with that, we have six main buckets, six main pillars of our strategic plan: chamber development, member development, workforce development, advocacy, leadership, and community enhancement. Each of those buckets have goals and have measures of how we can show that we've been successful. Again, we do not exist without our members. So day in and day out, our goal, what we need to do is serve our membership and their business needs. And, we've only seen the need for that grow. I probably get around 80-ish emails a day, 10 to 20 texts, multiple cell phone calls, and then our office phone. So that's where we want to be. However, that makes you be really reactive during the day. This strategic plan helps us really prioritize what we need to do day to day, and these pillars keep us honest, if you will, in our plan of work and how we need to be serving those member requests. And I want to bring special attention to advocacy. So we get a lot of questions about this. Advocacy is just another way of saying government affairs. We have a government affairs committee, and a lot of folks, we're a 501c6, and so we are a trade association. I've spent my career working for trade associations in a large way, and it's very odd. I said in our mission statement, we're pro-business, so we're here to cultivate policies that are pro-business, and that kind of feels weird because in the same breath I'm going to say, but we stay politically neutral. But where we do push for that pro-business, where we do push those policies and where we do take a stance, you have this document. It's our legislative priority issues. It's completely member-driven. Through this advocacy pillar of our strategic plan, we have our government affairs committee, and we take feedback from our membership throughout the year and craft these priority issues. This is where, I don't want to say we're staying neutral, but we are certainly taking a pro stance on these items that we feel and that our members feel are pro-business. And this is a document that our board of directors, that they vote on. And you can see it complements our mission statement. So you'll see everything on there highlighted, from the agricultural industry all the way down to, very specific items such as infrastructure and permitting and ordinances and our economic development strategy. And so I do want to thank you for being such tremendous partners with that. You've been having a lot of discussions and leading a lot of discussions around economic development, and how, I think, what was the word that was used as beginning to reinstate economic development. And so thank you. I've worked in counties throughout the state over the past 10 years, and I have not worked in a community yet where the BOC's actually led the efforts, as far as y'all going into an outside source to come and do your comp plan, that you've worked with ACCG to stay after hours to do an economic development strategy. So I'm really encouraged to see that, and I'm really proud to see that. But when we look at, where do we need to go from here, and how you can further support the chamber, and truly how the chamber can help you with your goals, we look at that comprehensive plan that we devoted so many resources toward, and you know, that fits perfectly in with that advocacy pillar of our strategic plan. Just looking through your comprehensive plan, and yes, I've read it, because that's my job. The chamber's mentioned 27 different times in the comprehensive plan. So it's everything from being mentioned as a strength in the comprehensive plan, being mentioned as an opportunity, and then also being mentioned as an avenue to accomplish many of the goals that y'all set forth as a county and through each of the cities. Really commend you for doing a county-wide with all the cities being involved. So there's a lot of opportunity for that. And I think what it really boils down to is where you also saw the chamber being an asset to this community, in addition to those core services that we provide our business community, which you all know, many of you are members. You know, some things that we started, and it was even marked as complete in the comp plan. It should not have been, but we have just barely scratched the surface. And we were sitting in here with that economic development training with Dr. Kristen Miller, and you know, we were talking about what is economic development, what does it look like, and you probably heard a lot about downtown development and a lot about tourism, and that is quite literally what you have said in your comp plan, where you see growth occurring and where you see the chamber being involved. So I'll highlight a couple. Support partnering with Madison County, other municipalities, and the Chamber of Commerce to expand heritage tourism and agritourism as an economic base for the county. Study and implement tools to encourage development of tourism-related economic opportunities such as public-private partnerships with a goal of adding quality destinations. And then, you know, going through and talking about what we've done with our buy local program, it could really be expanded. You've seen these shop local discount cards. And when you look at the comp plan and you look at this chart and you look at the cost, it says low, but then it says staff time. And, you know, Corey Lynn and I would love to be working on these big picture items because they are so integral to economic development and community development, but we are very much minute to minute, day to day, focusing on what our members need in the here and the now and doing these 100 meetings, roundtables, programs, and events. And so, you know, it's something that we're having conversations with our board right now and with our funding partners to say, how do we get to that next step? You know, with more, we know that with more funding and more resources, the sky's the limit, but what do we need to do to get there? And so I'm very much appreciative for us having a seat at those discussions that you're having about economic development. You know, I'm thrilled to see the traction we're making with our membership and how members are seeing us as a valuable resource to their business. But, you know, with your continued support, I think that we can really put Madison County on the map. You know, we had a summer intern work on our Move Around Madico initiative with zero cost. You know, there's so much we can do with the film industry, heritage tourism. You know, we'll be implementing a door-to-ground trail here in a couple of months, and that's been done on a shoestring. And, you know, we wouldn't have been here without you all, and I'm really excited to see what that future could hold. And so I'm not here to ask for any money. I'm here to thank you for your support, and I'm here to plant a seed in your discussions that you have. I know you have a retreat coming up, and then y'all have that session on the 12th. To please keep us in mind, as is stated in your comp plan, that we can be an avenue for you to accomplish some of your huge county-wide goals. But we need more resources to be able to do it.
On that topic,
Yep.
We'll be starting the budget hearings, probably going to try to put the budget stuff together end of May, 1st of June. If y'all can get us over y'all's financials so we can see, you know, I was a big push wanting to get a full-time help last year.
That's right.
We were able to accomplish that.
That's right.
And that way we can look at this year, seeing which way we need to move. But I'd really like to see those somewhere late May, 1st of June.
And what is that exactly that you need?
Just any kind of financial stuff that y'all have that you may want us to look over so we can see where maybe the pitfalls may be that we can support in some way to be able to expand this. The other thing I wanted to touch on, and I appreciate everything that you've done here tonight, but the very first one was agricultural industrial promotions, and you mentioned soil amendments. I don't know if y'all heard recently, board, Rob Leverett, our House representative, out of Elbert County, represents Madison County, a true rock star In his own right, he did fight for our county along with several other counties and got new soil amendment regulations put in place. It passed the House by 99% vote, and then it passed the Senate by a 98% margin, and that was a bipartisan margin. So Rob Leverett is working for our soil amendment folks out there. So for anybody that don't know what that is, please
And
look
to
it up.
give him another shout out, he sponsored our Georgia Grown Trail 98 legislation.
That's right.
He's been tremendous, absolutely.
Thank you, Anna. I don't have anything, gentlemen.
Only thing I might would suggest, Ann, and you and I touched on a couple of times, is, maybe you and Ben could get together with the IDA to look at how the chamber and IDA's role will evolve as the water department shifts in one direction. There'll be some areas of opportunity there that, you know, we'd love to see our partner more together on.
In that spare time.
Yeah, what are you doing next? And helping us with the vision of how that structure would look. Yes.
Is that something y'all plan to discuss on April 12th?
Probably.
Yes, I think so. We also have a Zoom tomorrow with Kristen Miller. I don't know.
Well, and please let us know, obviously I can't speak for the chamber. I do have a couple of board members in the room, have 14 bosses, so, you know. And they're wonderful, and they care greatly about this organization, and so I certainly would not want to speak on the chamber's behalf, but whatever time we need the board at the table for those discussions, please let us know.
Thank you for such a good job tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Allen.
Thank you. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for your support.
Check it out. We'll bump it down. There you go. Thank you. Just watch, make sure we got it turned on heat. Anna, we're gonna turn the air on now, hon.
Oh, Lord.
See it in her face. All right. Moving on, public hearing on actions and zoning matters. Mr. Canola Scott.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Morning, afternoon, evening.
How you doing?
Sorry.
Good. We should be able to move this through quite quick tonight. Everything is pretty straightforward. Number one is Ron and Nancy Garrison requesting to rezone the 9.0 acres from A1 to AR to allow split to give to their son while home site and bring property compliance with zoning regulations. The property is located at 822 Five Forks Road in Danielsville, map 8, parcel 4, District 2. No one came forward in opposition, no one came forward in favor. 7-0 to recommend approval.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. and Ms. Garrison, are you comfortable with that presentation, or would you like to add anything?
My father, he was feeling under the weather, so he couldn't make it today.
Sure.
But I don't think we have anything else to add. We're just looking forward to, having a house in Madison County. I think there was one issue with the driveway. We are putting in a second driveway, but we haven't, flagged out exactly where it's going to go.
I'm familiar with it now, yes.
Okay.
I went out and looked at it.
Yeah.
All right, anyone here to speak in opposition to this rezone request? Anyone here to speak in favor of it? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board, and entertain a motion, gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move this rezone request be approved as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner Kirk. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Adams.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great night, and hope you get to feel better.
Yeah, thank you.
Number two, Scott Chandler is requested to rezone a portion of his 57.481 acres from A1 to A2 to allow the property to be split back into two separate parcels for tax purposes. And the remaining acreages will stay in A1 zone. The property is located at 0 Patterson Road in Carbon on map 45, parcel 139, District 5. was no one in favor or no one in opposition. The planning and zoning voted 7-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chandler? Are you comfortable with that, sir, or would you like to add anything?
I'm good.
All right. Anyone here to speak in opposition? Anyone here to speak in favor? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
Chairman, I move this application be approved as presented.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Chandler, second by Commissioner Doster. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none. Commissioner Chandler?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries, sir.
I look at matters are very distantly related.
I never put the two together.
I've known the family for a long time, very distantly related.
Oh, I need for the record to say, Commissioner Mays is on spring break with his family. Sorry, I meant to mention that earlier. You're good.
Number 3, Gloria Neely, applicant for her sister Angela Neely, is requested to rezone a portion of her 18.37 acres A2 to AR to allow a portion of the land to be split and gives their sister the remaining acreage to stay in A2 zone. The property is located on 8443 Nowhere Road in Full, map 15, parcel 92, District 1. There was no one in favor, no one in opposition. Planning and zoning voted 7-0 to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Neely, are you comfortable with that presentation, or is there anything you'd like to add?
No.
You're good? All right. Anyone here to speak in opposition to this request? Anyone here to speak in favor of this request? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that this request be approved as stated.
I have a motion by Commissioner Adams,
Second motion.
second by Commissioner Chandler. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Kirk.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries. It's painful. Wasn't nothing to it, right? You're done. You're good.
Thank you. Thank you, Gary.
All right. Number 4 was James and Jenny Freeman. They did not show up for the public hearing, so therefore number 4 is considered a withdrawal.
All right.
Number 5, Tiffany and Tyler Stone are requesting to rezone the 17.95 acres from A1 to AR/A2. They're rezoning a portion of the property from A1 to AR to split and sell, and to rezone the remaining acreage from A1 to A2 to retain and bring into compliance with zoning regulations. Property is located on 0 Jones Chapel, Shiloh Road in Danielsville on map 49, parcel 058A in District 4. There was no one in opposition and no one for this particular rezone request. Planning and zoning 47-0 to recommend approval.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. and Mrs. Stone, are you comfortable with that presentation? Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think we're good with it.
All right. Anyone here to speak in opposition? Anyone here to speak in favor? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve as stated by the board, by the zoning board. Second.
Motion by Commissioner Kirk, second by Commissioner Doster. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Doster.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Number 6, Bill F. Allgood is requested to rezone his 38.14 acres from A1 to A2 to allow the property to be split into 2 tracts to sell. The property is located on 0 Road in Carlton on map 109, parcel 03 in District 4. There was no one that came forward to the approval, no one came forward in opposition. There was one person that did come forward and asked a question that was not related The planning and zoning voted 7-0, to recommend approval.
Thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Allgood,
Yes.
are you comfortable with that presentation, sir? Is there
I'm
anything
good.
you'd like to add?
No, I'm good.
All right. Anyone here to speak in opposition? Anyone here to speak in favor? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the rezone as requested.
I have a motion by Commissioner Kirk. We have a second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, it's Commissioner Adams.
Yes.
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 Motion carries, sir.
Thank you.
Number 7, Franklin Hall. Applicant for his nephew Corey Hall is requesting to rezone his 15.43 acres from A1 to AR to allow a portion to be split and gifted to his uncle for inheritance purposes. The property is located on 0 Gulf Road in Como, map 68, parcel 67-01 in District 2. There was no one in favor or no one in opposition. The planning and zoning recommended 7-0 for approval.
Thank you, sir. Mr. and Ms. Hall? All right.
Paul.
Anyone here? No,
He's not here.
Yeah. Is anyone here speaking in opposition? Anyone here to speak in favor? Hearing none, close the floor, bring it back before the board. Gentlemen, entertain a motion.
Question about access to that back parcel. It's gonna be another easement access. Was that question addressed?
That was addressed in the, non-discussion.
So is there any reason, what was the particular reason for that being left as an easement as opposed to just making that part of that back parcel?
Actually, Commissioner Chandler, I don't recall exactly what was discussed, but that was a part of the discussion, and P&Z felt like that was not a particular problem.
I remember clarifying that the two residences it will be serving will be a father and son.
I suppose it's family or something.
Yeah, it's by his father and son, so they won't have to build at 60 feet, pave it and all that.
I just remember hearing it in the meeting, but I don't remember what it was. All right.
This rezone request be approved, Mr. President.
Motion by Commissioner Chandler. Second. I didn't hear that.
Second. Which one you want?
Commissioner Kirk for the second. Any discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, Commissioner Chandler.
Yes.
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 It's ironic that was 0 Carlton Road and 0 Gunnels Road on the same night.
Zero Sorrow Patterson.
Yeah.
I
All
don't
right,
have any.
motion carried.
Number 8,
Oh, this is a question.
Matt and Sandy Sargent are requesting to rezone their 19.5 acres from A1 to AR/A2. They're rezoning a portion of the property from A1 to AR to split for financial purposes, and to rezone the remaining acreages from A1 to A2 to bring the property into compliance with the zoning regulation. The property is located at 1776 Highway 72 West in Como, map 84, parcel 080 in District 5. There was no opposition, or there was no one in favor of this particular rezone request. The planning and zoning voted 7-0 to approve.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Ms. Harden, you good with that?
He did pretty good.
Did pretty good. You gonna give him pointers when it's over?
Yeah.
All right. Anyone here to speak in opposition? Anyone here to speak in favor of it? Hearing none, we'll close the floor, bring it back before the board, and gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Doster,
Second.
second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen?
I didn't have anybody contact me with any concerns.
All right. Hearing none, Commissioner Kirk.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes.
You're just cutting out the 4 acres anyway.
Yeah.
Just rezone the rest of it for compliance purposes.
That's correct.
Perfect. Motion carried, brother.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good night. Thank you. Beautiful home, by the way. I'm following the Facebook page.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, consider amending section 14.3 of the Madison County zoning ordinance. After much discussion, the planning and zoning felt like this was not as clear, was not defined very clearly. So we're asking, or it was voted on to recommend to ask the Board of Commissioners to delay this request or this wording until our attorney and the planning administrator can get together and to reword it where it's more clear.
All right.
So we voted 7-0 to ask you to postpone.
All right, no worries, thank you. And to be honest with you, I got halfway through this ordinance Wednesday, and that's as far as I got before I got called out of town. So I have not fully read it neither. I would also recommend that if the board feels comfortable, I would entertain a motion.
So we can postpone, we'll look forward to that being addressed to it. Has it been referred to CBO?
Oh, yeah.
So it's a new point.
Well, CPL sent it back. This is the revised vision from them, but once they revised it, it's to us to look at, and then for Mike to look, and then for us to agree, and then bring it to the board, and I don't know that we've had time to do so.
Right.
Nobody felt comfortable with the word.
Yeah, I can give you the details, but 2 reasons. One, there's actually 2 sections being amended, and we only advertised 1, so it's gonna have to be re-advertised anyway.
Okay.
But 2 sections are about what happens, procedures at the planning commission and then procedures here. And there's some mixture of the 2 in the 2 sections. We kind of had it that way already, but the version we got back from CPL just sort of exacerbated it. So we need to straighten that out.
Well, let's end up like, at the end of the day, will it be where one references the other when we look at it, or when someone else down the road looks at it? Because that was one of the things that we asked CPL to look at, was when we run into issues where there may be a slight discrepancy or an opportunity for another interpretation of it, that, you know, if it's, 14.3 and 8.2, that the other thing would be referenced down below it as a footnote or whatever.
Stated once, refer it back to the other.
Yeah, one way or the other, it refers to where it's located.
Yeah, my recollection is it was more about, it's not necessarily cross-referencing, it's just there's a lot of the procedures there and here are the same, but there's some things that are a little different, and that's what we need to separate out, so that you look at, if I look at this section about planning commission, it tells me everything I need to know about planning commission. I look at this one about board of commissioners, it tells me everything I need to know about board of commissioners. Right now, you might read the planning commission one, and there's stuff in the board of commissioners one about additional things in planning commission. You wouldn't have the full picture if you read that.
We wouldn't have a reference mark, or board of commissioners is referenced in planning. It would say see board of commissioners or reference board of commissioners, so you can see it in a standalone page. But my understanding.
Yeah, that's what, and actually some members of the planning commission and I agree that, you know, we want to make it friendly, and so that if I want to know the procedures in one of those bodies, I just read this section and it tells me everything I need to know.
So the motion.
Motion postponed. I think that's what we need to do tonight, although frankly, I think we're going to re-advertise it anyway, so it probably doesn't matter.
I would request it go on, or postpone till the first meeting of May, and that will give us time to re-advertise it, plus it gives us 30 days for any type of clarity.
Or do we have to have a specific date to postpone?
No, I think postpone it definitely.
I make a motion to postpone it definitely.
Second motion.
All right, Motion by Commissioner Doster, I have a motion, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any other discussion, gentlemen?
And that's just cause I can't compute dates that quick.
No, that's fine.
Well,
Any other discussion?
it just gives staff an appropriate
Sure.
consultant to do the work.
And as we meet with CPL, this may be one of those areas that they recommend a tire restructure anyway.
Well, this is one of those, I think they suggested consistently quit messing with it while we're rewriting it. This is one that we're messing with it, and for good reason, it's fine, but yeah, it's sort of the exception to the rule.
So I have a motion and a second, any other discussion? Hearing none,
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
all right. And I will add, myself and Christina sat on a Zoom meeting today with CPL. They are working diligently on these as we send them in. We have told them that we know that they come out of the gate with about a 9-month completion time. I told them that if it runs a couple months over and we get the finished product in which we are looking for, I was completely fine with that, to slow down and get it right. And they, so far, really seem to be top notch. So I'm pretty proud of them. So,
The meetings we had with them have been very encouraging.
pretty sharp. Yeah. Old business. None. New business, consider awarding seal bid 2402 Lim Edwards Road project. Christina, you want?
Yep, Alan and Castille's reviewed the packet, they want to recommend Garrett paving.
All right.
They met all of the specs in the bid packet.
So based on experience with them, there's no reason in their mind not to do Garrett.
Correct.
I would approve Garrett paving this specific this contract.
I second.
All right. I have a motion by Commissioner Chandler, I have a second by Commissioner Kirk. Any other discussion, gentlemen?
I have a question.
Oh, sure.
Go ahead.
I was saying, my understanding is what, generally for the public, I think there's some prep work staff has to do, the road department needs to do prior to this work happening, so I just, as a cautionary tale, they won't be out there tomorrow, babe.
No, but we are out there currently, doing the prep work.
Yeah.
They've been working on it this week. As a matter of fact, I think they're from the Clark County line up to McCarty Dodd. I guess that's not McCarty Dodd. They're a portion of the way on one side. I can't remember the name of the road now. It's Cortana Tillman. Either way, they are working. But you will see. So please be careful, because that is a very dangerous road, especially when we got equipment right on the shoulder of the road. But, all right.
My question is the motion to award Garrett and the bid, and the contract, so I don't have to bring it back before y'all at the end of the month, I can go ahead and process the contract?
Yes.
That is my understanding.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, because we asked to award the bid, but not award the project. I got you, what you're saying now. No worries. So I have a motion and a second, and it's on you.
Yes.
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 Thank you, gentlemen. Discuss beer and wine license for the Golden Maple Convenient LLC, DB Stop and Shop.
This is just for discussion, you'll have a public hearing at the end of the month, and that's when you'll vote. There's a few things we're still waiting on, and that's the newspaper requirement, which is never ready for any discussion of a beer and wine application. And then the second one is the background check. There was a background check done, but it was not the background check that we require. So that is being reprocessed. And hopefully we'll have that back by the end of April.
All right, thank you.
Just a clarification, I don't think we do public hearings on this. There won't be public input.
That's right. All right.
Commissioner May will be here for that, so.
Yes. Lawrence? consider allocating $17,500 for Recreation Department supplement to the summer day camp program to allow additional 20 to 25 children participation per week. I think we're fixing to get an update.
So, per discussions last week and everything about the amount of children that we have on our wait list for summer day camp, which actually has grown since last week, the wait list has grown. We have done some numbers, and what you have is taking 40 total participants, so that's taking 10 extra participants. With anything over that, we just do not have the facilities to manage that. Last year, we did have 50, but it was really tight on buses, space, in terms of what facilities do we use when it rains, and whatnot. So what you have in front of you is our revenue based upon those participants. This includes our day camp line item and our boost grant. So our revenue is projected at $39,150. Then on the other side, just below that, is our expenses. Our expenses are based upon what we normally do every week, and then as well as those numbers are last year's numbers, so those prices could increase in terms of those certain field trips, as well as the fuel that we can put back in the buses that we use at the schools. So, through all of that, it includes our staff, the amount of staff that we have to have each week. This is part-time seasonal, but we also have lead counselors. Two of those are teachers that we've had in the past. So out of all of that, all of our expenses are $56,322.60. So our revenue is not covering the cost of taking those extra children. And so with that, I would ask the board for the difference in those two costs of what we were unable to receive this year from our boost, which was $17,500.
One question on your two payroll figures. Are any of that current employees that some of their time is dedicated to this camp? Are all these just new employees?
No, these are, we take current employees, so what they have to go through a separate interview process to be a counselor, but some of them are our current employees that we already have, and then we have to hire on here.
Okay, but my question is, from those that are existing employees, is this the portion of their salary that would be time spent specifically in this program?
Yes, that's just specific
So
to
this
this program.
represents specifically the cost to this.
Yes, sir.
How many more did you say that we would add?
10.
10.
10 campers.
Which would take us to a total of, what?
40.
40 instead of 50, just because of constraints on.
Yes.
Okay. Per week.
Per week.
All right. So that is 10, yeah. And how many weeks again? Just
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
But this is addressing the children who, through timing issues, were excluded before.
Yes, so that's taking 10 additional.
We're not rolling
No.
some that's already done the camper deal.
No, it's just taking the 10 off the wait list. It would be coming from that wait list. So people who were unable to register but are on our wait list
We'll get a
will
priority.
get priority. Yes, sir.
I'm not looking at the math right or something here. So your top number is what you're gonna generate.
Yes.
That's your revenue side, right? So if you take the 39, is that what you're taking, the 56, 39 from the 56 is coming up with a 17?
Yes.
You were gonna come up short anyway.
Yeah.
So with 30, we're about 4,000 short with 30. There are 30 participants that we currently have. And again, these numbers are based off of the trips that we did last year because we don't have that full trip schedule planned. We had to wait to see what we were going to get from Boost.
And these trips these numbers you used from last year are higher than if you took those same trips with 40 kids, because last year you took 50, so the cost was higher
Yes.
per kid.
Yes.
So there might be So,
Little less.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be,
Yeah.
which I don't have an issue with anyway.
I mean, if we're gonna return it back to the
That's right, I mean.
general fund
it's
either
not-
way. The only thing,
I'm not sure.
on Terry's point, all the staff members for these 40 kids, this salary here is brand new money above what they were already gonna get paid.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they weren't scheduled for the other, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, gentlemen. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we approve a budget amendment, I don't wanna say $20,000, just to provide a little bit of cushion, because we don't have some things planned.
Okay?
I'll second that motion.
Yep.
Have a motion by Commissioner Doster, second by Commissioner Adams. Any discussion, gentlemen?
Wish we could do more.
All right. Terry?
Yes.
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 Just I appreciate y'all bringing this back in this format,
Clear way to see it.
very easy for us to understand.
Yep.
Thank
Holly,
you.
did you put
That was
that
all
together?
Holly's, I was all Holly's
I was just
doing.
gonna say, gotta give Holly props.
I had to read through, I know how I read things, so that was all Holly's doing, I'm just separating everything out.
Keep in mind, it rolls
Thank you.
back, whatever you don't,
But
Sir?
it comes back,
Here
whatever you
again,
don't use.
Yes,
you
sir.
have assurance that the children that were excluded before get the priority
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
on this.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
so the way that we'll
Please do
pull
that.
from the wait list is the way that they were put on the wait list.
Okay.
And our new software that we have tracks all of that for us.
Okay, thank you. That's good. Thank
And
you.
while you're standing before us, Holly, thank you, because I know you're carrying a heavier load right now due to the shortage in staff. I know you've always carried a pretty heavy burden over there, and now you're carrying more. But from my chair to you, thank you, because you have stepped it up. You didn't have any choice. But we do appreciate it. It is recognized, I promise you.
Thank you, Chairman, I appreciate that.
I know some folks that will be happy, because I got several little calls and talks about this.
Yes, yes,
We
absolutely.
wish that we could get more people, and I wish we could too.
And we wish, again, we can get that facility, then we can
Yeah.
do a lot more.
We'll start planning for next.
I'm applying for grants already.
Yeah.
We've been
Start
granting.
planning, and even
All
if we
that's-
have to go up a little bit, maybe that might be best.
I would look for that, because that's, Commissioner Kirk made a good observation there. If we still have a dozen or so kids that aren't served, remember, it's the ones we potentially could serve, not the ones that are there every day, but the ones we potentially could serve.
Yes,
Thank you.
That's why I love this guy, right? I mean, seriously.
And
Thank y'all.
that's the goal, always, you wanna serve as many as you can, but.
Well, budget time's coming up, end of May, 1st of June, get your numbers, sharpen your pencil, let's get them right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, y'all.
Thank you.
Discuss amendments to Chapter 10 Animal Ordinance, I guess y'all didn't get the memo. They're here tonight, but, the Animal Control, Jacob, I don't know how many of you know Jacob, I know most of you know Joey Hendricks. Jacob's currently, that's Joey, that's Jacob. Jacob is currently doing code enforcement, but he's got the animal background. He has looked over this. We just got it to Mike. Mike's in the process of looking over it. So for tonight, what I was hoping to do is just, for you gentlemen to take it home and read it, and then come back to us. If anything you don't see, or things that you may see that you want added, please let us know, and then we'll vote on it at the end of the month. I didn't think there'd be many topics tonight, because we just got it today. That's the reason. I will throw a little bit of a kink into it. You will read the word cat in this, just for everybody. You're gonna see the word cat in it. We don't do cats, but the cat's in there for a reason. Jacob, please tell us why the cat's in there, or Joey, either one, whichever one of you knows best.
Well, to be honest with you, cat is in there because if we say all we're doing is canines or dogs, then what happens if a cat bites one of the deputies, one of our paramedics, or us? At that point, we can't look at that owner and say, we're taking your cat for the 10-day rabies hold because it doesn't have a rabies vaccination to see if we need to potentially have it tested. Now, if the word cat and animal is in there, and it doesn't just lock us down to dogs, it's for the safety of everybody.
It doesn't necessarily mean that we're trying to accept cats into our normal daily routine. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're going out trapping cats or anything of the sort. It just allows us to not be so boxed in. And it allows us some flexibility on both sides of the fence, as it applies to our safety and public safety, for sure.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask these guys, oh, go ahead.
Absolutely. No,
I was going to do
absolutely.
another topic, but I want to ask them a topic.
Absolutely, go ahead.
On rabies control, so the state law talks about the county Department of Health having a rabies control officer, and that's who you report it to, and they have a manual that's what they follow. Is that delegated to y'all here, or do you both work it?
We actually don't. We go out, we get the information and all of that good stuff, but when there's an actual bite, all of that information goes to environmental safety over at the health department. They keep records of all of that.
Okay.
The problem is that we are responsible, as in Joey and I, the county. If the animal needs to, well, the animal has to be quarantined.
Right.
Somebody's got to quarantine the animal, and oftentimes that falls on us.
Okay, I guess maybe that's more to the point of my question, is who does that?
Right.
So that always
And
falls here.
Joey's spot on, that as far as the tracking is concerned, it's tracked at a local level, a state level, and a national level. But the animal can either be quarantined on the owner's property if conditions are right.
Right.
All the stars have to align for that. But otherwise, we would have to take possession of that animal for a minimum of 10 days to make sure that it's not neurologically altered.
And that's all from that rabies control manual, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Got it.
And that's why it's important also in the ordinance as well, that, and just like on the county website, it refers everybody to the health department. Well, they don't have an on-call person like Joey and I that rotate. They don't have somebody that at 3 o'clock in the morning will answer the phone for a bite call. So it's important that we be notified so that we can investigate that bite. We also need to be notified of an aggressive animal, whether it be a dog or a cat, due to the public safety issue that's involved in the liability that we accept. Because if we allow a potentially dangerous animal to continue being inside the community, that's a huge liability that we've now taken on with the knowledge that that animal could potentially be had. We need to be involved in the investigation process so that we can maintain control again.
From a public safety standpoint, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna put the caveat in there for anybody who may be listening or watching.
Yes.
There is immunity for the county for that. We're not actually liable.
Yes, sir. I just mean in the grand scheme of things. You're right. I didn't mean to misspeak, but we need to investigate these cases, and that's why we need to be notified. And at its root, that's what I.
Right. And if the animal does need to be impounded for that 10-day period, that would be, you guys would have to.
Correct. The health department doesn't have the ability.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, and I understand exactly what you're saying, but, perception out there is, if we get an animal, it's folks.
That's right.
It don't make any difference about county immunity, they're gonna be down our throat.
They're calling regardless.
And, for the record, for the Madison County Journal that's here, that I know you're gonna do a good job on this. We don't collect horses, we don't collect sheep, we do not collect billy goats, we do not collect cows, we do not have a trailer, we do not have a truck for hauling those. We will come out and help you try to get them back in the pen if you need to be, or back in your fence. But, that's about as far as we're gonna go with that. We are not capable nor willing to go much further than that. We are helpful, but 911, I know y'all got some, if the owner just happened to call the adjacent owner and the sheep are back home. Well, thank you, but they called you guys first, unfortunately. And it's the same way, we're still sticking by the animal control is is we do not do wandering dogs, we do not do roaming dogs. For the journal standpoint is, I want to get that word out there. We do aggressive dogs with the intent to bite, aggressive dogs that may have intent to harm. But we're not doing dogs that's standing in your yard. Do not call animal control. Call us tomorrow and let us know if it's still standing there.
And that wasn't what I was suggesting at all. I was talking about if you actually have a dog that bites somebody, and, you know, like we see those on the news, and fortunately, we hadn't had in Madison County where a dog attacks a kid or something like that, and I mean, really does a lot of harm, and then that dog is still there or whatever.
And that's what I was.
Yeah, and that's why I'm saying, I know we're immune to that, but from a perception thing, it's what we perceive as countywide. And
That's all section 10-6 in there, that's the portion that addresses responsible dog ownership law.
Yeah.
The dangerous and, what is it now, vicious and dangerous?
Yes, yeah, vicious and dangerous.
And so we probably need some more, and probably one of the things that we ought to do is more education to the folks that have all these type dogs that may have some that they call quote unquote guard dogs.
He and I do that 7.
And that's good, because they need to understand their responsibility in that area.
And that's what I meant by, you know, the fact that we need to be involved in the investigation is because we don't want potentially dangerous animals in the community.
But the most important part we don't need to overlook is every pet owner's responsibility to keep their animals on their property.
That's right.
And that's what we urge every time.
And that's where I was wanting to go with that first topic. So before you call 911 on your neighbor's dog, remember, if you really like your neighbor, you'll contact him first, because if we come out, there's probably going to be a citation in that. There's probably going to be a warning. If they come out again, there's going to be a ticket for dog off property, for horse off property, for cow off property, if it's repetitive. So do your neighbor a favor. If it's truly your neighbor, just call your neighbor and say, hey, man, come get your dog because I don't want animal control to come out here to cite you. With that being said, moving on to number 9, urgent matters. It wasn't, sure. No, I'm just kidding. Urgent matters, it's not urgent matters. It should have been the chairman's report, but I did want to mention, I think April 13th, TJ and Friends fundraiser, coming up at Elberton.
At the old gym.
That's right, the old gym. If you can, get with Hannah behind you and give her the time and dates for any of that, if anybody wants a ticket. It's very important.
Sold out.
Huh?
Sold out.
Sold out. Well, never mind, you can come watch from the parking lot for a small, minimal fee. All right, that's all I have for urgent matters. Executive session, sir, to discuss real estate acquisition, personal matters, potential litigation. Yes, sir. Commissioner Dawson.
Move adjourned.
Thank you, sir. Good job. Thank you, guys.
Did you get all that, Hannah?
Done.
Well, somebody was contacting me about that, and I made never did. She said, send me your email, I think it'll get to me. She called me first.
I know, Derek's
Like,
on
you
the call.
dates or whatever. I was like, I'm gonna need to print out, I don't want to down. And then she goes, okay, send your email. I will. I sent her email, and I never heard back from her. So I guess no, she's right. Something for me on that. So like, ma'am, I asked her to go. Tell me. I've been having a lot of follow-up and stuff like that. My whole life is trying to Are you interested? I've already been, I don't know what the word should be, but I talked to someone that